Right, this video is a little bit more serious today. No jokes. I'm going to talk about the dark sides of boxing that people just don't talk about. These are character traits that you can develop from boxing training, boxing competition that, people just don't discuss. So I'm going to tell you some of my personal experiences, and I want you guys to let me know if you can empathize with what I'm saying, if some of you have dealt with these as well. Also, is there any that I've missed out that you guys can add? Right, the first one that I've got on my list, things that developed in me throughout my boxing career, bit of a deep one. This is fear, doubt, and a general lack of confidence. Now, some people are going to think you're a professional boxer. You used to essentially get in your pants and go in front of people and fight. How can you not have confidence? The thing is, that's so far from the truth. I mean, when you're boxing training, especially when you're preparing for fights, lack of confidence, fears and doubts, they're always in your mind. I was always thinking, what happens if I come out, the first punch lands and I just go over and I'm just out cold? What happens if I can't hit him with any punches and I'm just made to look like a fool? People just don't want to be embarrassed. And that's a huge thing that comes into your mind when you're preparing for fights. And the worst thing about that is if you let it can transfer over into other avenues of your life outside of boxing. Sometimes in my life, I've dealt with lack of confidence that's made me not do things that I know that, when I think about it long and hard, I know I'll be capable of doing it. But the fear and the not wanting to be embarrassed, not wanting to look silly, it can stop you from doing things. It stopped me from doing a number of things in my life. I always tried to turn the lack of confidence and the fear, I always tried to turn it into a positive, and I tried to use it as fuel in my training. So I used to work harder and harder just to make sure that I knew 100% in my heart that I was prepared for the fight. But yeah, that's one that can definitely impact you. That's a huge benefit of boxing though, is that it makes you come out of your comfort zone and it makes you sort of say, you know what, F it, I'm just going to do it anyway. So when I've got fear now in my life or I've got doubt, I just tend to think back to boxing and think to myself, you know what, I'm just going to do it anyway. So that's one that can take over if you let it. Number two I've got on my list, if you let it develop. Boxing can give you a negative relationship with food. I've suffered with that personally. I spent so many years dieting and restricting food that you don't want to eat sometimes. That's not good. Boxing, if you let it, it can lead to binge and purge cycles. And guys, that's not good. Binging and purging, that's an eating disorder. Now, when I say binging and purging, I don't mean binging on food, then going and make yourself sick. That's not the only reason. That's not the only way that it can manifest. It can be binging and then purging with exercise. And I know that I was guilty of that myself throughout my career. I would go out, go mad. Because I've been restricting for so long and dieting, I would go out, go mad, double portions, triple portions, get the milkshake, get the dessert. And then next thing you know, in my mind, I've got the guilt and I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I just done? So I need to, when I get home, I've got to go out for a 10-mile run. Then the following day, I've got to do another 10-mile run. Then I've got to do an hour on the bike. That's not good, guys. That is an eating disorder. Same thing, if you go out and you binge and you eat too much because you've been restricting, and then you decide, you know what, I'm just not eating for the next day. Again, that's an eating disorder. And these things can develop if you let them. You have to keep them under manners. You have to keep them on track. They can develop. That's a negative. Next one I've got on my list is overtraining, or should I say under resting, because a wise man once told me that you can't really overtrain, but you can under rest. All jokes aside, this one was huge in my career. And this sort of piggybacks on to the fear, the doubts, and the lack of confidence. Like I said, when I had that lack of confidence, it would make me go out and do extra work, extra running, extra rounds on the bag, extra circuits. It wasn't really needed. I wasn't resting enough. I wasn't fueling my body enough with the restrictive eating that we spoke about. And then that can lead to setbacks. It can lead to injuries. And then that extreme sort of that extreme mindset, going to the extremes with training. You think you're quote unquote embracing the grind. I'm locked in. I'm going hard for 10 weeks, 12 weeks. The thing is, that extreme mindset, that can lead or, linger into other areas of your life. we've all heard the stories about retired boxers struggling with drink, struggling with drugs, gambling, infidelity, things like that. And that's all off the back of extremes. And that can develop if you don't keep it under wraps. Don't go to extremes when you're boxing. Trust me, I've been there. Another one that was huge when I was boxing, lack of social life. So you think to yourself, I'm locked in, I'm focused, I'm super dedicated. Your friends are going out. No, I can't go. I've got to get up early and go running. You've got a birthday party to go to. Yeah, no, I can't go because there's going to be cake and there's going to be drink and I can't do that. Yes, going to bed early, getting up and running, those are really good things. Being dedicated to your training is really good. That's going to do wonders for your life. It's going to do wonders for your health and your physical fitness. What you have to keep an eye on, though, is that you don't isolate yourself from friends and family. Isolating yourself from social situations, it's going to be a huge drawback and it can impact your life, and it will impact your life. Because trust me, when the losses, when the setbacks come, and they will come, no matter how good you are, you're going to need them friends, you're going to need them family, you're going to need that circle around you to help pick you back up again. Don't isolate yourself when you're boxing training. Last one on my list today that can develop if you don't keep it under wraps. And I suffered from this myself throughout my boxing career and, throughout my life. Boxing can, if you let it, make you develop body dysmorphia. Now, I know myself, when I was at my fighting weight, I felt great, I looked great, I was ripped, the abs were there. A couple weeks, a month after the fight, the six-pack's not rippling like that anymore. And I think that I'm obese. I think, oh my days, what have I done to myself? I felt a sense of shame when I looked in the mirror. That's not good. I would put on t-shirts, I'd think, no, I can't wear this. I'd be going out with my missus, I'd grab a shirt out of the cupboard and think to myself, no, I can't wear this, I'm too fat. My missus would say, oh, we're going here, we're going there. And I'd be like, no, I don't want to go. I'm just looking too fat, I'm too fat. She'd be like, Aaron, you don't look fat. You look normal. You're not your fighting weight, but you're a grown man. If you let it get out of hand, it can develop body dysmorphia. You have to keep that under wraps. Remember, nobody looks like they're fighting weight year round, especially now with all these social media influencers and these fitness influencers. 99% of people don't look like that. And if they do look like that for one day, it is for one day, and there's an extreme amount of work that's gone into making them look like that. They don't look like that day in, day out, and they don't feel great. So keep that under wraps. What I want you to do, guys, comment down below. Can you empathize with the things that I've said? Have any of you suffered with it? Is there some other things that I've missed off the list? Let me know. Let's start a discussion.